welcome everybody. This week in gaming, the more Xbox games are going multiplat. Avowed and Gears of War collection might actually come to PlayStation. All of that and more, because this is the NerdCave News, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined by my good friend and co-host, Derek Daniel. Derek, how's it going, my man?
Man, it's going pretty well. How are you today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm off tomorrow.
Yeah. Whoop whoop.
Going to a town for the weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm today was just like, all right, I need this to hurry up.
gonna have to get out of Florida. You saw snow for the first time. Now you have to skedaddle.
Yeah, I guess so, dude. I did enjoy the snow though. I did really enjoy it. But yeah, it's been a plan for me and Amy for a few years to go. So yeah, I'm excited to a town bound. Exactly. So I'm excited. And last night I picked up mangas 6 and 7 of solo leveling. So man.
Yeah.
And the show, it's just so good. It's just so good, dude. So good. What's up, Michael? How's it going, my man? Guys, we are going horizontal and vertical tonight, so we'll be jumping back and forth, chatting with everybody. We want to know your thoughts and opinions. Before we get into the gaming discussion, Derek, I gotta ask you what you've been playing.
I've been playing a little bit more of the Iki Island expansion of Ghost of Tsushima, like I talked about last week. I did play the next story mission. I did get to Fort Sakai, and the eagle been messing with my brain. Like, that was a whole tripping sequence. And since then, you know, it's like, oh, the poison's still in my system. And every once in a while I'll stop and do things. And it's just like, yeah. And then the eagle messes with me. Like, I'm just like climbing a cliff. It's like, don't slip now. You're going to fall. And I'm like, oh man, get out of my head. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
But like, and it's like certain, like, you think it's just, because I would think, okay, it's like story beats, whatnot. It's like, nah, it's just going around in the world doing certain things. Like, yeah, it's mostly off of character dialogue interactions most of the time. Or like, if you're going to, like, I was searching for something or someone, and I was looking at a dead body, and there's like, then a vision appeared, or like a like a hallucination appeared. I'm like, oh, so anytime I interact with the world, it seems like, hey, you're gonna pop up. Cool.
Yeah.
And I like how when you go to the home screen, it does the hallucination mumbo jumbo at the home screen too. I feel like that. I like that was a nice touch.
Yeah, I like how it's not just when you interact with, you know, the eagle and everything, that it's throughout your game time on Iki Island and everything. Right. So I'm very, very excited that you're getting to enjoy that. I have been playing, of course, some Pokemon TCG Pocket. The new packs have come out, which means new decks, there's a new challenge out, several different things going on, which is nice. Because I don't know a lot of these are like later Pokemon. I don't feel as attached to them compared to, you know, the first booster pack and Mythical Island was, you know, Gen 1 essentially, with some Gen 3 and 4 or whatever. So like I'm still enjoying it, but yeah, hopefully we'll get like maybe Gen 2 next time around. That would be dope.
I know, like, I'm pretty well versed. Even though I stopped playing the games after Emerald, I'm still well versed in like Gen 4. But after that, it's like, okay, cool. You could tell me, oh, this was the next one, or like this is Gen 8. I'm like, cool, you're probably right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, there's like a lawnmower, a fan. I'm just like, I don't know.
Oh, Rotom?
Yeah. It's like all these different ones. I was like, okay, cool, you know, whatever,
right.
you know, a little house buddy or whatever. I don't know. So, but some of the decks that I've been seeing being built are pretty dope. So, guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button, share this with somebody, and make sure you drop a comment down below. See Erica over on the vertical stream. What's up? Hope you're doing well. Lotus coming back. Hey, how's it going? Joe, what's up, my man? Guys, we've got an awesome jam-packed show for you. So let's get into the gaming discussion tonight. More Xbox games going multiplat. Rumor has it that Fable, Killer Instinct, and Starfield, of course, are heading to the PlayStation 5.
So Microsoft is reportedly bringing games like Fable, Killer Instinct, and Starfield to the PlayStation 5 as the company expands its plan to release games on multiple platforms, according to a report from Vandal. The report also mentions that Microsoft Flight Simulator and Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition are coming to other systems, which Age of Empires 2, I don't know if it's shadow dropped, but it did officially get announced yesterday, coming to PlayStation 5. Fable might even launch on PS5, Xbox, and PC at the same time. The news follows the confirmation that Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PS5, which we talked about last week, along with rumors that the Master Chief Collection will also be on Sony's console. Rumors about Flight Simulator and PS5 have been around for a while, with leaker Nate the Hate saying earlier this month that the game is coming to Sony's console. Starfield has also been rumored for the PS5 since last year, along with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which is set to launch this spring. When asked about Starfield, Phil Spencer said there's no reason to block any game from being on another system. This suggests that the Bethesda RPG could very well be headed to Sony's console in the future, which we did talk about that last week. Phil did tease that, and now it looks like that's picking up more steam. I think Killer Instinct is an interesting one. Because that game was an Xbox One launch title, and that game has been dormant for so long that I don't know if it still has any headway or people will even care, especially with Mortal Kombat 1 taking over so much of the headspace, and Street Fighter 6 being really fun to play, and like
Tekken 8.
Tekken 8 has been like, there's so many other great fighting games that have been picking up the steam over the last couple of years that I don't think Killer Instinct will matter in the long run. Like, cool, you get another Xbox exclusive. Like, I think this is Xbox's move to see if there's still any kind of demand for Killer Instinct as an IP, to see if they want to revisit it. But I think that's a DOA game. Like, that'll just come out and maybe 500,000 people will buy that and play it. But the big one, though, is Fable, because that will be Fable. Like, a lot of these Xbox first party games will see their first time on PlayStation, of course, but Fable coming to Xbox after being dormant for so long as well, and then picking up and like rebooting it, doing a different studio and whatnot. I think that is a huge get here. Like, I know Starfield, like it said, been rumored for a while with Indiana Jones, but plus we already talked about it a little bit last week. But Fable coming to it is huge. But again, it's if Halo and Gears, two of their more protected, mega blockbuster IPs, are rumored to be coming there, what is off the table at this point?
Yeah, if those two are, potentially, because we're about to get into some Gears news, that opens the door for everything. Back to Killer Instinct real quick. I think that this would be it. Like, in my mind, it's like content. Okay.
Yeah.
If it is evergreen content, you can put it anywhere.
Correct.
And if 1,000 people buy it, then that's more than you would have not putting on there.
Well, and especially because I like to know the numbers now, like how many people are playing Killer Instinct today. You know what I mean? Like, so even if they get 500,000 players, it's probably 500,000 more than they had previously. Because I don't think that, like I said, that game, they did like definitive and ultimate editions like every couple of years during the Xbox One era, but that game has been dormant since then, and so I don't know that anyone is still playing it.
So playing 3 hours ago, 43, 24-hour peak, 48, all-time peak, 823.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So essentially they're getting, let's just say 500,000 people buy it, they're getting a 42,000 player bump
now,
or 420,000 player bump.
This is Steam's numbers, so I don't think that this is including Xbox and everything, but that is a very limited, like, I don't even know how much is Killer Instinct. Let's see.
I know it was free in the beginning, maybe.
Yeah, I remember it was free on
Xbox One.
It's free to play on
Steam.
You can get the anniversary and it'd be $29.99.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you can unlock all the characters and skins and whatnot, I'm sure, for a price. Yeah, but the initial point of entry, it's free. So
yeah, I just don't think that it's going to move a lot, and doing microtransactions on a game, like, it doesn't look that great either at this point. So it's, I don't know, it's a weird choice, but again, it's like, hey, if we get 300 new people playing it, and they, 5% buy this or whatever, because it's like they're still clearly running servers on it.
Right.
So it's like, everybody would be on that same server and everything. So I don't know. It is kind of strange, but to see what all potentially is going to be coming, because Microsoft Flight Simulator would be dope on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to toss this out. If Fable is coming this year, later in the year,
Yeah.
could we see a collection of Fable 1 through 3 hit
On
the
PlayStation.
Xbox, PC, and PlayStation?
Well, as we get into it, kind of bearing the lead here, because it does say, where was it in the thing? Fable might even launch on PS5, Xbox, and PC at the same time. That is like the newest rumor, because we'll see with another couple games that we're going to talk about here in a minute. That's going to be the rumor as well, as like, hey, when they launch, they're going to launch on all systems, because like Indiana Jones is a timed exclusive, and now in like about 6 months, well, about not even 6 months, about 3 to 4 months, it's going to come to PlayStation. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's like, hey, if we do this thing, yes, we are remaking the story essentially, but you never got into the franchise or been on the fence about it. Play the original trilogy and see if you like it.
Yeah, I loved the original Fable games. 2 is definitely my favorite out of all of them.
I was gonna say two you definitely had the most fun with.
Yeah, 3 was still good, but 2 is definitely like chef's kiss.
Especially if anyone messed with your dog.
Oh man, I'd murder that whole town. But I think it would be awesome to see, like, it doesn't even have to be a remastered version of these. I think just, putting them out so people can playing on the current gen hardware and everything would be dope. And then that gives people a reason to be excited, because yes, Fable has done well. It's sold pretty well, but it's still a very niche game.
Correct.
And it's like, if you want to make a splash on Sony consoles, you need to give a reason. And the people that buy Fable, the new one, might not buy the first 3.
Right.
But if there is a 15%, population of that group that buy the new Fable, that buys the original trilogy, it's just like you're just repackaging it. And of course, we don't know anything about game development. Let me just put that out there. I don't know
it's
how
hard.
easy.
We talked about it last week. It's hard. We're never going to understand it unless we get in that ecosphere.
I'm just like, hey, just throw it on there. What's the deal? You know what I mean?
Right.
But
what's taking you so long? Why can't you figure it out?
So I would love that. I'm excited to see what's going on, because there's a lot of crazy stuff that is happening, because Gears of War collection is reportedly heading to PlayStation 5 day one with Xbox and PC release.
So fresh rumors suggest the Gears of War is coming to PlayStation 5, with leaker Extus 1 claiming that the Gears of War collection will launch on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC on the same day. They also stated that it took a lot of effort to confirm the collection's existence, but he now believes it will be announced on a multi-platform release. He also mentioned that the remastered Gears games will support cross-platform between PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, though a Switch version is still unconfirmed. This isn't the first time we've heard about Gears of War coming to PlayStation 5. Last month, Windows Central reported that Gears of War Ultimate Edition, a remaster of the 2006 classic, is coming to Sony's console. However, they did not mention a full collection. In July of last year, a job listing at developer The Coalition suggested that Gears of War E-Day might also be heading to PS5, as the job post referenced experience with PlayStation storefronts and PSN. Nothing has been officially confirmed yet, but Microsoft is already bringing Forza Horizon 5 and the games we've already talked about to PlayStation later this year. So we go from a Ultimate Edition of 1, which they did that on Xbox One, to a whole collection. Now I wonder if it will include 4 and 5, or it'll just be the original trilogy. Please don't include Judgment
Day.
Let's say that abomination that's up there with God of War
Ascension.
Yes. So like that is up there. Just we don't talk about it. So I wonder if they'll include the entire, like all 5, or just the original trilogy. But it's that coming today. What do you think is like the bigger one here? The fact that both the now kind of confirmed, not but unconfirmed collection coming to PlayStation 5 along with E-Day, possibly both on day one, or do you think like the bigger story is like, hey, we're going to get a remastered edition of Gears?
Well, I know we got Ultimate. Gosh, when was that? It was like
That was
2016,
2015.
2015.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was right before 4, because
Yeah.
4 came out in 16.
Yeah. 4 was so bad. Um, I would like to see at least the first 3. Like, I just don't want it to be, you know what I mean? It's like, how scoping is this? Because even like Master Chief Collection, when you look back at it, we already got Halo 1 remastered before the Master Chief Collection. Then we got
True.
2, which was great. 3 was the same game.
Right. Yeah,
So
because 2 was the second remastered came packaged in with Master Chief Collection.
yeah. So 3 was the same, and then Reach was the same as well. So this, like, I'm assuming we'll probably get the ultimate version of 1, maybe
Yeah,
get the remastered. If we get the remastered of 2 and 3, I'd be a
that'd be
happy
dope. Right.
camper. And then 4 and 5 can be exactly the way they are. I don't think like,
Especially 5. 5's
yeah,
only a 6-year-old game. It doesn't need to be touched up yet.
yeah. And 5, like, I want more people to play 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because 5 is so flipping good.
Yeah.
So yeah, the remaster is like, I want to know more where that
Yeah.
spans to, but if it comes day one to PlayStation, then it is signaling Xbox is ready to just put their games everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I like they've kind of played it a little close to the chest, but I think with how well Sea of Thieves was, you know, received on the PlayStation when
Correct.
it came out, and I know it has dwindled some, but how well it's been received, the other games that have come out on the different platforms,
Mm-hmm.
they've sold really well, and now Xbox is like, hey, Xbox has to make money.
Yeah.
Microsoft has told them they have to make money, and this is their way to do it because hardware sales are down, and
Correct.
then Game Pass thankfully is up for them,
Yep.
but it's like we need to see things, and they're using older games, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they are using some things that they've are new that we might be getting day one, but Starfield is over a year old now, you
Yeah.
know, and then you think of Sea of Thieves, that's several years old that
Yeah.
they put on there. You know, so it's just bringing it to a new audience. It's making it where, you know, more people get to play the games, which I think is great. And Xbox has already kind of said, it's like, hey, we just wanted people to play our games,
Right.
you know.
And well, and you think about this too, like releasing a game day and date along with the other versions versus delaying it or like now reporting it over. I mean, it's sort of like, okay, it's the reverse strategy kind of PlayStation, right? Where they
Mhm.
launch their new IP first on PlayStation, then wait, now they're closing the gap. It's only like maybe like not even a year that they release the next, that same game on PC.
Yeah.
But the Xbox is real, like you said, it needs to make money. One side is down, but the other one is up. But like it's been stated before, games like for new games that are launched day and date on multiplat, that is going to be bigger than if it was like delayed. Like I know obviously because of the reception of Indiana Jones, it will, people will flock to it on PlayStation 5, but the initial people who would have bought it if it came out day one with the Xbox version versus now would have been probably significantly better because majority of games make majority of their revenue in the first 2 weeks of launch.
Yep.
So if they let's just take E-Day and Fable, right? If those launch day and date on PlayStation and Xbox, that will be bigger for those studios than if they just launched on Game Pass and then came about 6 months later to PlayStation.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. So I can't really add anything else to that because we got another little hint that a game coming out this month on the 18th might be coming to PlayStation 5. Avowed's director seemingly gives a telling smile that hints a PS5 release.
During an appearance on the MinMax podcast, Avowed game director Carrie Patel responded to a question about the game coming to PlayStation 5 with a knowing smile, hinting that it might happen in the future. When the host said, Avowed is obviously coming to PlayStation 5 at some point, Patel smiled and gestured, suggesting it could be true, though she didn't confirm anything. This is just speculation for now, but with Microsoft bringing more Xbox exclusives to other platforms, there's a good chance Avowed could be next. And again, this only makes sense now This one doesn't mention day and date. I think this is going to, I think when it gets to a certain point, Microsoft is going to like launch that strategy, but I think they want to do it in succession. I think it's too late to say, hey, it's coming to PlayStation now, you know, like 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks before launch. So I feel like they're going to probably put it out later in the year. Probably, I feel like summertime or like early fall will be the window for it. But I feel, you know, obviously it's too late to say, hey, it's coming day and date to PlayStation 5 because pre-orders have already been locked in. They've already got a certain number of things happening. So they can't just last minute go boom. But again, if this game holds up, because, you know, while we like what we've seen from the last couple of iterations, we are hesitant about it to an extent, especially with the marketing push that, or lack thereof, it seems like they're doing for this game as well, at least that I've seen. I haven't been on the web, you know, a lot lately, so I don't know if there's been any marketing push for it yet, because we're less than 2 weeks from the launch of the game. Just like Hellblade 2, you know what I mean? So
it feels very similar to that.
Correct. So, but if it hits, it's going to be big for PlayStation people to get an RPG, and Obsidian RPG again. You know, like Pentiment was a nice little palette cleanser, but it was different. It was, you know, it wasn't like a true Obsidian RPG that we've come to know, like Outer Worlds. So yeah, good for them. We'll see. I you know, it's what you don't say that resonates more than what you do say. So the fact that she kind of gave a smile and be like, can't really say anything, but it's could be a thing. It's like, it's happening.
Yeah. I think they're trying to get it closer and closer, kind of like how PlayStation's trying to get closer and closer with their PC releases and everything.
Correct.
So I think they're just prepping to, because again, they haven't announced this, so this is, you know, just speculation. But, you know, if they launch it 2-3 months from now, that'd be totally fine. Pardon me. I'm all burps over here, y'all. Sorry. But I think the goal is, the further this year goes on, to get things day and date.
Correct.
And just get it out at the same time and get as much money as possible, because I feel like they are under the microscope at Microsoft. And, you know, we said this literally the last story, but it's like they need to make money. They have to make money. And it's not because Microsoft doesn't have any money, but it's a corporation, it's a business. Right. So what do they want to do? They want to make
see
money.
Revenue up.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. And it's just like, okay, well, what do we have to do? We have to do something that nobody else would do.
Correct.
And we're going to cross enemy lines and we're going to become friends with them. You know what I mean? And it's very strange, but it is what we're living in. And I think it is telling on where we are in the gaming world right now. With you know, the blurring of lines and everything, which is not a bad thing, because guess what?
We still win.
We still win. We benefit, you know. So just like you can benefit by subscribing to the NerdCave News on podcast services around the globe and on YouTube, right here where you're watching right this second. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and go over there and leave us a 5-star review on whichever service that you prefer. You know, Derek, I'll tell you this. People are getting fresh Spotify, Apple Podcasts each week. Video versions are available as well. I don't know about Apple, but on Spotify you get video versions as well. So, you know, and there's a podcast version of this on YouTube. We have all of our episodes on there. So go check it out. Go subscribe and leave that 5-star review, because Mom always said, if you ain't got nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. And that's what the EA boss doesn't get, because EA boss suggests Dragon Age the Velgar didn't meet expectations as it lacked live service components. Wow, what a stupid thing.
Right. So
it is Andrew Wilson. So what do you expect?
Right. He's been putting his foot in his mouth for decades now. EA CEO Andrew Wilson suggested that Dragon Age The Veilguard didn't meet sales expectations because it lacked live service features, which were originally planned but later scrapped. During EA's latest earnings call, Wilson said games need to appeal beyond their core audience by offering features that keep players engaged. He emphasized that players now look for shared world experiences and deeper interactions, alongside strong storytelling. Wilson admitted that Q3's financial results were lower than expected, even though Dragon Age The Veilguard had a polished launch and positive reviews. However, it didn't reach a broad enough audience in today's competitive market. After the final major update last month, EA downsized to focus on the next Mass Effect game, leading to layoffs for some Dragon Age devs. And you, like you said, Zach, this is a asinine statement. Now, yes, do some gamers want that? Yes. Do all gamers? They're letting their people who buy Madden and FC and now going to be college football every year cloud their judgment about what the mass media of gamers want. And let's be honest, live service has been proven to not work. I mean, Sony's abandoned it with some of their core projects. I mean, when you nix a God of War and a Last of Us multiplayer feature, you kind of know that the writing's on the wall. And yes, we keep beating the dead horse that there's really only three kings there's only room for so many at the top. That's Fortnite, Apex, and Warzone. They're doing it now. Yes, were they kind of like the first to market of and when you're kind of the first, you kind of deserve to be on the top. However, many have tried and a lot have failed. There are some that are still like stagnant but have never really reached the peak. But there are more dead bodies along the trail. It's like Mount Everest. There are more people that are at the summit than at the top. So I don't think it being live served, and you've spoken on it more well versed than I have because you played it a lot. If it did have live service, it would not have made up for the fact of the lack of storytelling that BioWare is known for, the character development that BioWare is known for, and just the overall combat that they excelled in the second game. So and perfected, and well, not perfected, but it only increased in Inquisition. So live service, in my opinion, would have added to it and would have gotten some players more than the 1.5 that they had at launch. Yes. But would it have made the game any better? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think the attach rate would have been what they would have thought either. But
no,
like it being live service, I would think that a lot of people would not have bought it, to be honest, because gamers are tired of live service games. They're tired. And if you're going live service, you have to pretty much give it away for free now. People don't want to pay $70 and then, the horse armor costs $40.
Yeah.
And all of them look exactly the same, but they're just different shades of colors.
Right. And slightly better stats.
Yeah. And it's just like, I understand they are thinking with their wallet. They are thinking, man, if this would have been live service, we probably could have brought in, $300,000-$400,000 more or whatever. Yeah, that would be nice, but you probably would have lost, some of the people that would have actually bought this game from that 1.5 that sold. I also think if the game would have been better, it would have sold more. Once, you know what I mean? And I'm not even talking about the story side of it. It's just the combat was okay. And again, I'll say this every time just so people know, I played this on the Steam Deck and I enjoyed it, but I can see the flaws in the game. It doesn't live up to what BioWare can actually do.
Correct.
And I just think that this thought process of it has to be live service to do anything is so void of common sense. Look at Concord. Look at the other games that you talked about, Dead before they even arrived. They were still in the womb and they got just gutted. You know what I mean? And there's so many others that have come out and died. It's just like back in the day when so many people tried to chase what EverQuest was doing, and then WoW came out and just dominated, and then everybody was like, we have to make an MMO. And then we saw this slew of MMOs out of nowhere. And then all of them sucked because they didn't know what actually made an MMO good. They were just trying to do what somebody else was doing that actually was successful. And when you imitate somebody, you're only an imitation. You're not the
Yes.
genuine deal, you know? And that's
Mhm.
what everybody's trying to do. They're trying to imitate Fortnite. They're trying to imitate Warzone. And once you get down to it, it's just like that's not how to make games. You need to
No.
stand out. You need to do something that is innovative. You need to do something that actually tells a good story.
Yep.
And Dragon Age just fell flat. Let's just be honest. It was not a good game. It was an okay game at best. Was it better than Star Wars Outlaws? Oh yeah. My
by a
God.
mile and a half.
By a country mile. By a country, and that, if y'all don't know what that means that's a very long mile. But it's like you look at these games, they're pouring so much money into them, but they're in an echo chamber, so they don't know what, you know. It's like, oh, we're building this game, and you're really excited about it because it's something that you're making, and you think that it's going to change the world. But when it comes out, because you haven't actually got any feedback, some harsh feedback, then you're like, oh, why is my game getting a 7? Why is my game getting 6s? Why isn't my game selling more? It's because it ain't that good. It's okay. And that's what it sold. Okay.
Yeah. And you know, like you talk about trends, like we saw this was first person shooters, open world, battle royales, which also Fortnite was the king of for a long time. People are so blinded by chasing Fortnite, Apex, and Warzone money, and just like let's just not even take it out of live service. People are so obsessed with chasing GTA money, which is technically because of the online also a live service. It just hasn't been talked about in a while because they've kind of just like are gearing up for 6. But people need to stop worrying about what other games are doing and worrying about what they can do. But yes, that can be the litmus test. That can be the expectation. Is like, hey, we need to make as much money as Fortnite has. But instead of trying to mean like, oh, this is what worked for Fortnite, let's just copy and paste it, put our own spin on it. You need to find out what made it successful and do it your own way. The money, you can chase the money, but don't chase the thing that made the money.
Yeah. Because that's all it is everybody's chasing money.
Yeah.
And Dan had a good one right here. We need innovative, not imitative.
Hallelujah.
1,000%.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Yeah, and gamers need to be running these companies. I heard a quote the other day. Once the accountant starts running a business, that's when the soul leaves.
Correct.
And that's what it feels like, is the accountant or, of course, the shareholders are running these companies, and it is pathetic what we're getting. It is pathetic. And
I mean, I know they have their shortcomings and they're like third in a lot of the console races, but you know, while the Xbox is stuck around and succeeded in their own business model, because Phil Spencer's a gamer. You know, at the front of it, he's a gamer first and a businessman second.
Yeah. And you think about Nintendo. Nintendo just continues to put out good games. They, you know, some of them sell extremely well, but they just build games that are so fun and have this just imagination. It feels like a child, like, is their imagination. Oh, it'd be cool if that's like, that is one thing that I love about Nintendo. And these third party companies, I do feel like Sony does a good job on the narrative side. They do come up with really good games. But these third-party developers, EA, Ubisoft, they are struggling for their identity right now. And their identity, their identity is money-grubbing corporate shills.
Yep.
I feel like I'm preaching over here. I need like an organ. You know what I mean?
Go on, Pastor.
I need an organ sound over here. But to say all of that, Andrew Wilson has always said outlandish junk. He was defending Battlefield 2 or Battlefront 2 back in the day. You know, all of that. So
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't take his word with a grain of salt. Like, you need a salt block, like a horse would lick on. So yeah. And I agree with Joe over on the horizontal stream. Any games are where it is these days. 1,000% agree. Like, one of my favorite games in the last few years. Oh, here's 3 of them: Cocoon, Venba, and Sea of Stars.
Yep.
All indie games and all amazing.
So
Get that southern preacher. Oh, no. I can do
time, Pastor.
It's getting so warm in here. Guys, let's move on to our next story. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater arrives in August, according to the PlayStation Store.
So, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, is set to release on August 28th of this year, according to a PlayStation Store leak. Originally planned for 2024, the game's release window had been unclear until now. A new trailer also leaked through the PlayStation app. An Ape Escape crossover has also been teased with a message reading "and more," suggesting additional collaborations. This likely references the original Metal Gear Solid 3, which had a monkey minigame where Snake used stun grenades and a special gun to capture monkeys. The reason for the leaked release date and trailer is unknown, but if rumors of a PlayStation State of Play event next week are true, someone may have revealed it too soon, a major misstep in a stealth game. Aside from a new first-person view, the remake closely follows the original. IGN described it as a visually impressive remaster, but almost faithful to a fault. So you got to figure this is true. Go ahead.
It's like going loud.
Right. Like this mission requires stealth. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, it's like, oh, my cover's blown. Just start blowing people away.
Oh, but this is kind of if this ends up being true, which I think it is. It is sad that it got leaked this way. Like we haven't had any major leaks like this in a while. You know what I mean? Like it, but well, how about this?
This far out.
This far out. That's true.
Usually the day before or the 2 days before is like when we hear it, but
correct.
A week out is kind of crazy.
Right. And it's only because the state of play has not been officially confirmed. Like I know the guy who mentioned that this was a thing also got the switch to initial reveal date correctly, but because it's not official, it is like you can only speculate that this was supposed to be like the big unveiling at State of Play, or at least one of the big unveilings at State of Play. So, but to be fair, first of all, let's go. Like, because I know it was supposed to be last year. The game looks fantastic. Like it coming in August, I think is a perfect release date because
it's 1,000%.
It's right on that cusp of because it'll be now that college football is a thing again. It's going to be July, presumably. So it'll be right after that, like after that hype, but right before the craziness of the fall launch lineup. So I think that's a perfect release date, especially everyone's going to be back at school. Everyone's, just like when I was in GameStop, everyone used that college refund check to come buy consoles and games. Like that'll be a perfect drop. It's like, hey, I got my refund check from not using everything in my scholarship. What am I going to buy? Let's buy Metal Gear. Let's gotta get something for my new dorm room. So I think it's a perfect release date. I think this does carry merit, especially since if the state of play, like it said in the article, if the state of play is true, or is a thing next week, I think this was going to be revealed at it. So I think it's all coming together now. So what are your thoughts? Like it's all like, yes, it's exciting, but it's also kind of sad because you always like that little fanfare, that pop in circumstance when you have an event.
Yeah, because so many times we get, these events, State of Play, Nintendo Direct, Xbox Developer Showcase, all of these, like, we have to really temper our expectations. And then when something that is actually like super exciting to see gets spoiled, it's like, is that the only thing that was going to like pop us on, on that day? And it is sad, but seeing that we're getting it in August is really cool. I don't think they're going to change the date. I think that's just like, cat's out of the bag. We're not putting it back in. Let's go forward with this, start ramping up their marketing campaign. I think it is interesting to see that they're keeping the Ape Escape side of things.
Right.
Because that is a PlayStation property. Correct. I'm wondering, because back in the day, Metal Gear Solid was a PlayStation exclusive game.
Correct.
So I'm wondering if only the PlayStation side of things is going to have that Ape Escape like mini game.
That exclusive content like they used to do back in the day, which feels a little archaic nowadays because no one really does it anymore.
Yeah.
But I think you have a point. Like it probably will be a thing, especially because, like you said, Metal Gear and PlayStation has had such a close relationship from its early days. So I think they just do. I think they continue that by doing that. So I think that is a thing. But I don't know. I think because one of the first or the first like extended levels in Astrobot was Ape Escape. So
Yep.
I think Sony's I don't know if like Sony needs to get off the pot or do its business with
Yeah.
this property, because it feels like they're trying to get people to care about it, but they're also in that limbo of like, we don't know if we want to commit to this because we don't know how much demand will be for this game. So it's like, are you trying to make us care, or are you just trying to bring nostalgia back? Which one is it?
Yeah. I know. The only time I ever played Ape Escape was on a demo disc, and then Astrobot.
Right.
It never really like hit me. I know some people are like, stands for Ape Escape and everything. It's just not my cup of tea. But hey,
Correct.
if you want to do a simple remaster, you don't have to do a remake. Just remaster the games, make them playable, and then put them out. That's totally fine. Or you do the whole thing. Hey, this is a PlayStation 1 game, PlayStation 2 game. It's on the PlayStation Excelsior level or whatever it is.
Right.
I can't remember. Is it platinum, gold, silver? I can't remember.
I think it's extra, and premium.
Is it? I thought it was. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
No.
I think that would be a way to do it. It would be less investment of time and resources. So
yeah.
But it would also be able to gauge people's interest monetarily to see if they're interested in it to make another Ape Escape.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I doubt we see that content come to Xbox, wherever else on that. Do you think, Derek? Snake Eater, yeah, it used to be called Snake Eater.
Yeah.
Delta comes to the Switch 2.
Well, that, like we talked about, it was on that list of supposed games coming to Switch 2. So again, this will, I want to see what iteration. Will it be a full game, or will it be a true like physical game, or will it be just a cloud download? Which again, if it's playable, it's playable, but that it's much more telling if it comes like physical box in rather than like a digital like cloud streaming. Like you gotta ping the servers and all that junk. So I
download the drivers,
right? So I think it does, because if all these rumors about how powerful the Switch, I mean, again, the litmus test, Delta is a graphics heavy game. And if Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is also a graphic intensive game, is going to be played on the Switch, it will be a massive win for Nintendo fans. But, and again, I think thinking about it too, I think it's only fair because Snake has been in Smash Brothers for so flippin' long, and they've never got, well, I'll say, as of recently, I can't say never. I think they did have like some type of Metal Gear games early on.
They got the remake of 1, and I think maybe Sons of Liberty on the GameCube back in the day.
Yeah. But regardless, it's been a very long time since they've experienced a Metal Gear game on a Nintendo platform. So I think this is the perfect one for them to come back and be like, we in it, baby. We come into everything.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to jump into Delta. I think it's going to be great. And last one before we get into the Patreon quick hits, Derek, I want to talk about PlayStation State of Play predictions. What we think are going to be there. And guys, we want to know your thoughts. What are your wishes? What are your wants? Throw them in the chat. We're going to read them as we go in here. So, Derek.
Yeah. And if it ends up not coming next week, just delete the segment.
So my thought is, let's go with the likelies to be shown, and then we can go to the wishes. So likely Assassin's Creed Shadows.
I would almost say Ghost of Yotei.
I feel like this early on, they usually show like third-party games though.
Yeah. And I mean, again, they'll tell you ahead of time when the State of Play is thing, like what to expect. So
yeah.
And Shadows will be that same week. If it it got delayed. I'm sorry.
It's in March now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this would be its last hurrah. So
I think they need a good showing for that game.
They do.
Or it is going to bomb like nobody's business.
Yeah. Yeah. So they need any Ubisoft more so than Assassin's Creed needs just any kind of goodwill it can get at this point. So I can agree with that. I mean, it's also, let's be honest, Sony has shown multiple samurai sword wielding games before in its showcases. So
Rise
in
of the
state of play.
Ronin.
So right. So I mean, it's in the realm of possibility that both Ghost and Shadows is shown on these in this.
Yeah. What's one that you think will be shown at State of Play?
Um, I I think it's time to see more of Yote. Like that's like I just said. Like I think Yote is a shoe in, like just to show, like, as we saw the initial reveal trailer. I think it's time to actually show gameplay. Don't know if we'll get a date. Might get a window, but I think it's time to actually see some gameplay, because I mean we got some length. I mean we got a little bit of gameplay sprinkled into the initial reveal trailer, but if we're already getting it that far along, I think I think it's time that they show a gameplay sequence, or like a mission sequence.
I just feel like we're not going to get Yote on this one. That's just my feeling. I want it.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
okay.
I'm jonesing for it, but I don't know if we're getting it.
Oh, and it's gone. Death Stranding 2. I feel like we haven't seen that. No, and it's strange because we've had we had a Keeley event not even 2 months ago, and it was MIA, I believe. So I think it's time that we see Death Stranding 2. I think that may be more likely than Yote, because I feel like because Kojima said that they're in the crunch stage. Now that could mean that the game still won't release till maybe fall, but I feel like it's another opportunity to showcase, like get some more of the actors, because I know the first game had like 20 million different actors in it that he wanted to show off. So I feel like 2 is like, hey, let's do another actor dump that we're bringing for this one.
Yeah, I think showing some gameplay, because all we've really seen is just cinematics at this point of the game.
True.
So showing like some of the new things or whatever, and then put a date on it. Like we know what the game is going to be. Like put a date on it and show some new stuff that's going to be in there. Excite the fans. I think Death Stranding 2 on the beaches or whatever, whatever it is, dancing in the moonlight, that that this is its time to get a date and all of that.
Correct.
I think we see Delta.
Yeah, obviously.
I think we see Delta. We get the trailer because they took it down, of course. So I think we get that. What else do you think we might see? And then we can get into the wishes, but I want to see what else you think we might.
I can't think of anything off rip except for like maybe some collabs, like they do a new season of Fortnite, or new season of like another collab, or probably the next PlayStation game to come to PC, probably, because I know we just had Spider-Man 2 drop on there. I can't remember what else they confirmed to come to PC lately, but Last of Us Part 2 is coming to PC in April, so I think we might get another snippet of that. Probably like the PC specs, like the ultra wide, the DLSS support, all that, fun stuff. So I think that could be another lock in to see at that showcase.
I think we see Marathon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think we see Marathon.
Then do we see Fair Games? Because it's been a while since we've seen that, and that's like their next one that they're trying to bank on for live service.
Whichever one is like closer to release and looks the best is the one that should go out. I think if they put both of them, that's like tying a rock to each of their necks and then throwing them overboard. It's like, swim, boy, swim. It's not going to go well if you show 2 live service games from PlayStation, because the last time we got a live service State of Play, like everybody was ticked off. I know I was ticked off. You were ticked off.
I was gonna say Concord, like Concord, yes, but also it's like they did a whole showcase on live service. So I mean, it's not also out of the realm of possibility that they show these 2 games. Like probably one will come this year, and then the other one will be like, hey, we're still in development on this. We're still backing this game. It won't come this year, but it's still out in the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think potentially getting some. I know we got at the Game Awards, we did get Helldivers 2, they were putting out new content and everything.
Correct.
I feel like we get some more content possibly from Helldivers 2 because it has been, almost too. It's a while for a live service game. So potentially seeing something there. I'm trying to think of anything that's like a little bit more shoe in. Any that come to your mind, and we can get to wishes after that?
Not that I can think of. I was going to troll and be like, hey, and Concord's coming back in Astrobot. Do we get Astrobot content again?
I could see that. I could see Astrobot getting some more challenge levels, that sort of deal, a few more bots in there.
Because that Tekken Heihachi Mishima was like shown up as like a guest character. So in the latest credit rolls, so it's not out of the realm of possibility again that they do that.
Yeah, I would love to see more of that. One that we don't talk about on the show usually, but maybe we see Days Gone remastered.
Yeah, that was heavily rumored. When was it? So it was sometime last year, some event that was going to come up. I think it was the last state of play that they did, and it ended up not being true. It was just Horizon remastered. Oh no, Horizon 2 came to PC. Just kidding. I don't know. Again, I don't know if people care enough. Like, yeah, it's still like, yeah, I know people play it more on PC per se than PlayStation, but I just don't know if people would care enough to see a remastered of Days Gone.
I don't think so, but that is a possibility. So, Derek, what is a wish from you? Also, I think we'll see some sort of PlayStation VR 2 stuff shown. So, what is a wish?
A wish. Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen it since 2021 when it was initially failed, and they've been, we talked about it last month, a couple weeks in a row where they're teasing it. They say, "Oh, we have a roadmap to this." They're teasing like, "Oh, content, it's still going well. We have some good content for it." And it's like, so what you're saying is that you're ready to show something, but you're not telling us. So I feel like I would love to see Wolverine there, but again, PlayStation is just to get ahead of it is always transparent with what you can see at their state of plays.
True.
Kind of like along with your sentiment, I feel like this is going to be like, because like usually their first ones is usually dealing with third party and indie games. So I feel like we won't really see. But then again, the last one we got in like September, they said it was mostly going to be third party, and we got a Yote reveal. So.
Mostly third party. That's
mostly, yeah. So we got to pay attention to the wording and all that jazz. But Joe's like, imagine we get Spider-Man 3. I think it's too early, and I don't know. I feel like
not that I wouldn't love it. Not that I wouldn't love it.
Correct. But Spider-Man 2, they need to fix on PC because that's a little rough around the edges.
It's rough right now.
Right. So I feel like they're going to be head first in Wolverine, and then I feel like they need to take a break. And I feel like Spider-Man 3 won't be till PlayStation 6, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they need to let that franchise kind of gestate, because it's also a huge shift. No, I'm not going to spoil it, but like the end of Spider-Man 2, like it's going to be a bigger shift story-wise and everything, which I know we did get a Miles Morales game, and it was an amazing game. I listened literally to the soundtrack almost every day, just because it's got like a good beat to it and everything. But anyway, I think that's a whiles away. I think we'll probably get a Wolverine 2 before we get a Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, well, we need to get Wolverine 1 out the door before we even
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be like Wolverine 1, then Wolverine 2, or something like that. Maybe an X-Men game. Who knows?
Maybe we see another studio do another Marvel property, so
maybe we see the not the Winter Soldier, but Captain America and the Black Panther,
the
1942 or something.
43, 42, whatever it was. So I think we're due for that, because that's supposedly this year. Or the I forget who's doing it, but I think EA is also doing a Black Panther game.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to do that, but then again, I feel like again, kind of like muddying the waters, like with 2 live service games. I feel like 1942 or 43 will be the one because I think that's further along. I feel like, and again,
Yeah.
I think Sony wants to, like, even though it's going to be done by EA, or like published by EA, I feel like Sony wants to have a repair the relationship it had with Amy Hennig and have a showcase with her game in it.
Yeah, I think it's 1943 Rise of Hydra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's slated for this year, and since we're getting next week the new Captain America movie,
Yeah.
it would be a good year to put out a Captain America game
Correct.
on that. So for me, wish. A wish. Huh. Yote, I know we talked about that. I would love to
Yeah.
see Yote. I know Blue Point was working on the God of War
Yeah.
live service game, but I'm curious how much of Blue Point is that the thing that they've been working on for years and it
Correct.
got canceled.
Yeah, because I mean the tease for the longest time was it was a beloved IP, and God of War is kind of beloved. So
Kind
I
of.
don't know. Well,
It is, boy.
yeah,
It
it is. So I don't know. Like, I feel like I feel like that because I don't know how big that studio is to where if they have 2 different teams.
Yeah.
We'll see. So we shall see. Because I think after that, the rumors were that was the only game that they were working on for a while.
Yeah.
Don't know how true that is, but
okay. Blue Point Studio. I'm looking up how many people work at Blue Point Studio. Or 80. So it is not a very big team. But dude,
not enough to
think
split
about
it in 2.
No, not enough. So yeah, that was definitely what they were working on, and clearly it was not good enough to go out if they're going to cancel something they've been working on for freaking forever since the launch of the PlayStation 5. Yeah,
yeah.
So that's kind of sad, that many years kind of down the toilet and everything. But hey, work on something new and make it awesome, because Blue Point is a very talented team. I don't think people give them enough credit. They're like, oh yeah, they're just the remaster studio. It's like they have brought games that look like doo-doo sauce.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And brought them back to life and made them beautiful again.
Right.
So
made them relevant again.
Yeah, like Demon Souls. No, like everybody was just on Dark Souls, and then they brought Demon Souls, and it like just blew the roof off the sucker. So
right, because people forget Demon Souls was the start of the Soulsborne genre.
Yep.
So another wish. Now again, this has to be by another studio because the main one is busy with other things. Another Uncharted game, man. I think it's time.
Ooh.
I think they bring back Uncharted.
I would love Uncharted. I would love a new Uncharted. I think like it's a great time because the Lara Croft games are like just kind of in limbo right now. We're not really getting anything. And the Indiana Jones games, like we haven't talked about it, but Indiana Jones has been really good. I need to get back into it now that I can move my hand a little bit. I don't know how much I can play, but like what I did get to play, I really enjoyed that game. Like it was different. Like it was kind of a mix between Uncharted and Hitman and Lara Croft. Like it was all of these things because like you're using disguises and you're doing all these different things, and it just made it such an interesting game. And like the lore and the timeline, because it's during the start of World War II, just really good game. And I think once it comes over to PlayStation, it's going to get a lot of people excited for it. And it has the humor, it has the pacing, the cinematic shots and everything. So do you think, Derek, we see any Xbox games at the State of Play? Or do you think Sony is going to be like, keeping them at bay? You know what I mean?
Because the first 4 that they did, it was just in its own press event. It wasn't at a State of Play. Sony didn't really tout those. It was just kind of like Microsoft made a press statement in their own right. But I feel like if they're wanting to make this big push, PlayStation, if they want to make more revenue on their end, might show it at least, like, because Forza Horizon 5 is confirmed for spring. Like, we didn't get I don't think an actual date, but we got a release window. They could say, hey, a beloved franchise that you played on Xbox is coming to PlayStation for the very first time ever. And again, like, yes, it's touting Xbox games, but Sony can spin it and basically, like, we could take some mind share away from y'all. We could say, like, we could take some of your sales by just saying, hey, Fable, it's going to be on PlayStation. We have a higher install base. Come to us. You know what I mean? Like, again, I could see both. I could see where they don't do it and Microsoft just does their own thing. Like how they just, like last week, they just upped and said, hey, Forza Horizon 5 coming to PlayStation, confirmed. And then, went off air. But also I could see PlayStation leaning into it and be like, you know what? We'll play nice with you because you're nice enough to put your major franchises on our system. Why not tout them a little bit on our own showcase?
Dude, if they drop the Gears of War collection,
brother,
you know what I mean? That would be dope. That would be so huge.
It would.
Would Zach be playing those games again on PlayStation? Would be nice to get those trophies.
It would, but I gotta stay a loyalist. Like I gotta dance with the one that brought me, so I'd play it on Xbox.
Derek, you wouldn't dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Nah, I rebuke the devil.
Okay.
Like,
I like that. It would be on Game Pass, which means I don't have to buy it. So more than likely would play it on, Xbox and everything. Plus, it's like there are certain games. It's just like the controller that you play with. It means the world. You know what I mean? It's just like Halo, Gears. It's just like there's a feel to it. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want to play God of War on an Xbox controller.
Correct.
It's just like it just doesn't work.
I mean, hey man, it could be worse. You could be playing it on the baby button, the
baby
controller.
Button, boy. Them baby buttons.
Could you imagine having to fight fight some of the bosses with that?
No, especially what's that dude's name? Bifrost dude. Oh God, I can't remember.
Rolf.
Heimdall.
Oh, Heimdall. Yes.
Yeah. I couldn't. Nope. So, any other wishes or predictions for the PlayStation State of Play potentially next week? Again, for everybody that's just joining us.
Right. Not that we've already talked about, because again, you all with PlayStation and particularly State of Play, you have to really temper. I know we say it for Nintendo Directs and Microsoft showcases don't really, because they actually tell you ahead of time for some of them, and they actually kind of do deliver in a lot of them. But PlayStation ones, you have to temper your expectations because they tell you it's like, hey, it'll mainly include this stuff, and then it's like, all right, cool, like that cuts off half your predictions. But I don't know. Like the only other thing I could think of is like some DLC for Spider-Man 2 that that was rumored that never came, but I doubt it. I feel like now that the PC version is out, it's too late for that. But I mean, hey, you know what? Let's shoot for the stars. They show again. They have no reason to be here at the State of Play because they march to the beat of their own drum. They show off the first gameplay for GTA 6.
Oh, I feel like it would be what is their big one? It's not a State of Play, but it's
PlayStation Showcase.
That would be where we get GTA 6.
Yeah,
but
but then again, back in September, you would have thought a showcase would have been where you got the first unveiling of Yote, and we got it at a State of Play. So again, I say all this to say Sony doesn't even know how they want their State of Plays to go, because when they first did this, the first one was phenomenal. Then the next one was garbage. So it's like a heartbeat monitor. It's like just goes up and down. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's like a kid that doesn't know how to yo-yo. It's just like
correct.
It tangles up and all of that. That is So temper your expectations. What we just, weaved for you will probably not happen.
Yeah, none of it. Except
But
Metal Gear.
yeah. Metal Gear, and you'll have a voiceover. You won't have any real people talking to you.
Correct.
But I'm just saying, like, if it was Forza Horizon and it was Nintendo, they would be like, this legendary franchise is speeding your way.
This is true.
That right there. That's all I want. That's all I want. I do love a good Nintendo pun. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But again, it's Nintendo. It's on brand for them, so it works.
1,000%. You know what else is on brand? The Patreon quick hits, because the Patreon quick hits are brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Go over and support the NerdCave by getting your very own NerdCave membership to help us continue to make awesome shows just like this one. So become part of the ship, part of the crew at patreon.com/nerdcave. Help keep the lights and the mics on, guys. We are a 1.5 person business here, and we put out not just NerdCave news. We do a stream on Tuesdays. We have awesome anime content. You don't want to miss out on it. And we thank all of our wonderful patrons that have already went over there. If you don't have any bucks to toss, that's totally fine. We do have a free tier over there that you can see our schedule and various things that are over there. So definitely go check it out and support us if you have the extra dollars to toss. Now it's time for the Patreon quick hits.
So starting off, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown reportedly sold 1.3 million units during its first year. Netflix's Devil May Cry series will premiere on April 3rd. Midnight Society, the studio co-founded by Dr. Disrespect, has shut down. Simu Liu says he is working to make the Sleeping Dogs movie happen. Summer Game Fest 2025 confirmed for June 6th. Let's go. Followed by Play Days, which will occur from June 7th to the 9th. Demon Souls and Gran Turismo 7 are reportedly no longer heading to PC. Civ 7 post-launch roadmap reveals free and paid content updates for 2025. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is getting a live-action film adaptation. Weird, considering that game just got unveiled or shown off, gameplay-wise. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 on PC hits almost 19,000 concurrent players amidst reports of multiple performance issues. Multiverses is being delisted on May 30th following the conclusion of its final season. Sony is still reportedly set to hold a state of play this month, possibly the week of Valentine's Day. The writer on Fallout New Vegas has rejoined Obsidian, but isn't working on a sequel. Borderlands 4 has the deepest and most diverse skill trees in the franchise to date. A rumor, some BioWare staff that were loaned to other EA studios may not return. The Sims 1 and 2 return to PC at last via the Sims 25th birthday bundle. I skipped one here. BioWare reportedly down to fewer than 100 employees following layoffs and staff exits. Sean Layden says Xbox multi-platform plan can succeed like Sega. Sean Layden also predicts that the PS6 won't be a completely diskless console. New Battlefield community test plans leaked ahead of official reveal. Following that, EA announces the campaign is back for Battlefield. Following that, EA confirms that the new Battlefield game will launch sometime before April of next year. So they're planning to launch it in their fiscal year, essentially. Following that, EA is willing to shift new Battlefield release date on account of, quote, nuanced year relative to competition, which probably means it's trying to stay out of the way of GTA 6. A new Need for Speed game will arrive eventually, but Criterion is focusing on Battlefield for now. Microsoft will host a new ID at Xbox event showcasing upcoming indie games on February 24th. Arrowhead CEO is up for a Helldivers 2 and Warhammer crossover, but says the team is too busy. Hideki Kamiya reveals Platinum Games has seemingly lost another 5 game directors. Sumo Digital reveals it is no longer going to work on original IP and will instead focus on games with dev partners. Monster Hunter Wilds' second open beta test launches today. EA is looking at bigger, more meaningful updates for Apex Legends, which may include a 2.0 update. Devil May Cry Remake has possibly been hinted at by Virgil voice actor. EA says Madden and Football Club might find real energy on the Switch 2. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has already sold 1 million copies. Kudos to them. Elden Ring Night Rain release date reportedly set for May, with new info coming next week. Might be at the state of play. Rumbleverse dev Iron Galaxy Studios lays off 66 people in an effort to enable our long-term survival, it says. 2K has reportedly fired its 31st union president, Michael Condrey. Resident Evil Reverse will be delisted on March 3rd, and servers will shut down on June 29th. Rainbow Six Siege 2 is reportedly in development with major engine overhaul. Pokemon TCG Pocket estimated to have made $500 million with a B dollars in less than 3 months, and that probably was a lot of it due to Zach being a microtransactions because he is a hypocrite. Stone him. The Switch 2 Direct will air on April 2nd at 8 a.m. Central Time. I had to get that jab in there.
Throw me on the bus there. Yeah, I do support. I'm voting with my wallet, Derek. Thank you very much. Yeah, I just want to hit what Joe said here. Multiverse shutting down is sad.
Yeah.
Like, it is crazy. Like, they update the game, they made the combat faster, and then it's like, all right, we're closing down this game. And this
and it's not coming back again. I'm sorry. Like, I know they had different issues the first time that it went away and came back, but it ain't coming back again.
Like, it should have never came back. Let's just be honest.
True.
You know, or it should not have went away. Like, they should have just improved it. And I think that would have been better than, like, when you do something like that, you are literally cutting your nose off to spite your face. Like, you are not going to get the same install base the second time round.
Right.
Like, you know, you be transparent, you communicate, you salvage the trust that you have with your player base. And now it's not that way. And Warner Brothers, I feel like they don't understand what gaming is, because they're, you know, we talked about live services and everything. It's like Justice League Suicide Squad and all of that. And then Multiverse, like, those two games came out are like close around the same time. Both are live service, and I feel like Multiverse has done better than Justice League, and it's a free game.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
A lot more properties, like not a lot more known characters, and the only real success of its live service in WB lately has been Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, and it's like, you look at the one game that's done well for them, and guess what it is? A story-based game. Well, story-based game with Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Correct.
Yeah.
I forgot they published that one.
Yeah, and then, you know, they call out the one thing that everybody wanted out of Hogwarts Legacy, Quidditch, and then put it in a game. And it ain't great. You know, I played a little bit of it, and I was like, you know. So, I don't know. A lot of crazy stuff going on there. Yeah, I don't know.
So, but what was it? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I think just launched, like, I think this week.
Yeah,
already selling 1 million copies. Kudos to them, man, because I know when the first game came out, it was a very underrated game. Like, it kind of flew under the radar, but people loved the combat system and the dialogue and the abilities. And they just took that, ran with it, improved it. Like, I know it had like one of the longest scripts of dialogue ever in a video game. And now it's already hit 1 million copies. That's what you do when you invest in a new game and like a new IP and let it just state the right way.
It's almost sold as much as Dragon Age in 1 week.
Oh, that's a good point. Holy cow, that's sad.
Just saying, you know what I mean? Like, when you actually know what you're doing and you got a good vision, and you're not jeopardizing or giving a skewed version of your game. I'm not even talking about the politics or the views of the game, okay? Because I know, you know, that sort of deal. But it's like, when you take away like the things that make your game amazing, your dialogue choices, when I want to kick someone's teeth in and be a jerk, and you're like, I don't like that, mister. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, spit in his face.
Right.
Yeah, spit in his face, throw acid on him. Like, that's what I want to do. Let me live my life.
Renegade for life.
Exactly. That's how I am. in video games. In real life, I'm a lovable guy. I'm, benevolent to my core. But, in video games, we're gonna burn people. We're gonna do
That's how he
it.
gets his anger out. That's
Exactly.
how that's he takes all the anger that the stupid people just stated for him throughout the day and just takes it out on a random NPC in a video game.
It's better than me, doing what Aaron Yeager's trying to do. You know what I mean?
He's trying to do a good cause. Like, he's just trying to end some things,
we end the pain, we end the hurt. So, guys, that is our episode this week. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe on podcast services across the globe, whichever you prefer. Go listen to us there, leave us a 5-star rating, and go support us on patreon.com/NerdCave. We'll be back next week when Derek answers the question, is macaroni wet?
Okay.
Is it wet? I don't know. This has been Zach
and Derek.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye-bye.